Hi there folks, welcome back to video number 8 in this Python Pygame video series walkthrough for the Pups game or Flowy. It's been quite a couple of episodes in this tutorial, and I think this will be the final episode. We're basically just putting in the finishing touches, we're putting in a score, we're putting in the timer, or at least the timer is already in the game. We're just going to put it in so that the player is able to see what or how much time is left over. Then we're going to put in the score, how the scoring works, and we're going to put in a top score, which saves for the next game. Because if you go ahead and you play the game now, if you've been following along so far and you've built the project as we've built to this point now, if you hit the new game button, you would have a working game. And as you can see, we're putting in our pipes. We're not getting very good pipes coming in. We need a couple of straights. Let's put in our straights. We got that one. We're going to go with a turn. Let's bring it back down. That's quite helpful. We're looking for, oh dear, yes, that one. Now we just need a vertical. There, we hit the ready button. The water flows through. We've connected the two pipes to the end. We've hit the end. We're unable to input any new pipes. We cannot delete any pipes. But if we hit the next stage button, we move across to the next stage. Now, obviously, we can't see it right now because it's not being reflected at the top yet, but the time has shifted from 30 seconds down to 29 seconds. All right, we did do that in the previous video. I just went ahead and coded it with some of the lines of code, but we'll quickly go back and touch on the code that specifically does that. It was rather quite late when I was recording last night, and I might have gone a little quiet while putting in code. Right, let's get started. Great. I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make this this code a little bit more easier to read, just in terms of the code that's reflecting on the screen. Hang on a second. Let's just go back into presentation mode, make it easier for you guys to read. I'm going to minimize a lot of the functions and methods that we have. We're not going to touch them anymore, so it's no point in having them remain open like this. So I'm going to have to go out of presentation mode to be able to do this, if you'll excuse me. So the load sprite sheet function we're done with. We can minimize that. The sprite image function we're done with. Load images function we're done with. Test loaded images we're done with. In my game class, the game class itself, the init method we are done with. The run game method we are done with. The input method, we're still going to make a change there, so I'm going to leave that one open. The update method we're done with. The draw method, you can go ahead and you can remove all of these commented lines just to make it a little bit easier for yourselves. We can minimize that. We're done with it. In the pipe gameplay class, the init method, we're going to make a few adjustments to it now. The init game method, this init game method, we are done with, so you can go ahead and minimize that. The create game grid, we are done with. You can minimize. The insert start pieces method, we are done with. The verify start method, done. Verify end, we're done with. The reset game method, we are done with. The check new game or new stage method, which created, is done with. The update time, we are done with. The draw game board method, we are done with. Draw current next pieces, we are done with that method. Where are we now? Okay. The get row column method we're done with. The insert new piece we need to keep open. We're going to make an adjustment to this one, a very simple one. The remove piece method we are done with, so you can minimize that. The update method we are done with. We're not going to make any more changes to the update method of the logic. The draw method, we're going to make quite a few changes to that method. Draw new items to the screen, so we can't minimize that right now. The starting piece, in the start piece class, we can minimize the initialization method. We're going to keep the update method open because there is, if I have it correct, there'll be a change that we're going to do to that. the update image animation method, we can minimize. The reset timer animation, reset timer method, we can minimize. The draw method, we can minimize. The end piece class, we are done with it. We're not going to make any more changes to this, so we can minimize it itself. In the pieces class, or the piece class, we are done with the initialization method. We're done with the update method. We are also done with calculating the next piece direction method. The update next piece is a change that we will be making, or an addition to that method that we will be making. The win state method and the fail state methods, there will be changes to that. The reset timer method, we can minimize. The calc flow direction method, we can minimize. Update image animations, we can minimize. And the draw method, we can minimize. All right. Going down to the timer class, we are done with the timer class, so you can go ahead and minimize that class. We won't be touching it ever again. The button class, we're going to minimize the initialization method. We can minimize the button generator method. Under the button action method, if I have it right, there will still be some adjustments to it. The draw method we can minimize. Going further down under our assets section, the dictionaries, the start dictionary, the end dictionary, the pipes, and the flow dictionary, and the board dictionary we can minimize. Right. Let's just make things a little bit easier to read going through. There's only a couple more adjustments we need to make. I'm going to go back into presentation mode, excuse me. There was one thing I noticed while we were busy with this, going down to my starting piece class, we're shorter method here. It's pretty much the same as the piece method for fail state. All right. So in my start piece, we need to go and insert a fail state method. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. All right, so in my starting piece, we're going to do it just below the update image animations method. We're going to define fail state. Right? Straightforward. Self.game.game over. That will be set to true. And we call this method will be called, if I have it correct, it gets called over here in our update method. But it gets called here. Self.failState. Right, so when determining if the next piece is the next piece to play, if we do not, if the next piece never returns valid, we then call the self.failState. Okay, and then this print line over here, let's just remove that from the game as well. Line 319 in the update method. Okay, so now we've got the fail state method included in our starting piece. That's for if we don't have a valid piece. If we don't have a valid piece put next to the starting pipe. Great. All right, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our pipe game. Or the second thing we're going to do is not the very first. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our gameplay method class, and in our initialization method, we're going to include 4 new attributes. Looks like 4, yes. 4 new attributes. We're going to include, add self.topScore. Let's just give that a none for now. We're going to give a self.score, and that's going to be equal to, let's start off with 500. Then we're going to, our self.time will be equal to self.startTime. Divided by 1,000, right? And then we're going to define one more attribute. We're going to define a self.font. To do that, we go with pygame.font.sysFont. Pay attention to the capital letter on the F. I like stencil. I've told you this before. Give it the size of 40. So self.font. All right. Now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and create ourselves a helper utility function. Helper utility function, we're going to go with up at the top in our utilities. Underneath test loaded images, we're going to define a new function. We're going to call it text image. And we need to pass it the font and the message. Right? And we're saying message is equal to font.render message, 1 for true, for the Boolean value of anti-aliasing, and we want it to be white. Right, and then we're just going to return that message. All right, then we are going to go down to our gameplay draw method, our gameplay class in the draw method. In the gameplay class, right down to the draw method. Where's the draw method? Right there. Insert from the very beginning of the draw method, we're going to go with window. So basically now we're going to insert some text onto the screen. So we're going to go window.split text image, and the argument we have to pass it is self.font, and we're going to give it an f string timer, and curly brackets, a string of self.time. Okay. Right. And then we need to give it a position on the screen. I gave it the position of 1212, X and Y positions, 1212. Right. We're going to get another item we're going to add to the screen, window.split text image, self.font, f string, score, open curly brackets, string, self.score. Right. Close those brackets, comma, 64 multiplied by 4 is the x coordinates, and 12 is the y coordinate. All right, one more item we want to add to the screen. We're going to go with window.split text image, self.font. Sorry, my spelling there is a bit off. Text image, self.font, f string, top score, and curly brackets, string self dot top score. Okay, close brackets, close curly brackets, close that, close the brackets, and then we are going to put it at x position will be 64 multiplied by 9, and then the y will be 12. All right, I'm just quickly going to go ahead and run this. We should see the writing up on the top of the screen of the game, and we do not. Just give me 1 second. Okay, you shouldn't actually pick up that problem. If we run the program, it should just work for you. The text images that we've just put to the screen should appear at the top like they do. There we go. You see they're appearing at the top. We've got a timer set to 30. Scores at 500, top score none. So if we start new game, that timer should actually start rolling backwards, I think. I wonder if we built that yet. Just hang on. New game. There we go. As you can see, our timer is set 27, 26. The countdown is running. We can actually go ahead and try and make sure we beat that timer. That is what is intended. Where are we? We need to go there. Yes, like that. Put that one there. Yes, fantastic. Need another horizontal, please. Another horizontal, please, and one more horizontal. As you can see, we hit 0. The water's flowing. We can still put in a pipe just in time, and we'll reach the end point. If we hit next stage, my timer started at 29. Did you see? So we have it working correctly, that the start time difficulty is increasing because the amount of time available when starting is less and less. If we click the ready button, the timer continues. That is what we're going to adjust now for that timer to be reset. Okay, and then after we've completed the timer, then we will work on the score itself and then the top score. Okay. So going back to the timer. Great. So we're going to go down into our gameplay class. In our gameplay class, we're going to go, we're going to go down to our buttons. Apologies. We're going to go down to our buttons class. And in our buttons class, under button action, under self.text is equal to ready. Okay. Under ready, we're going to add 3 more items to if self.text is equal to ready. But not within the for loop. We're going to go with if self.game.time is equal to 0, right? We're going to return. Nothing's going to happen. Then we're also going to say, well, if self.game.newGame. So if the new game is set to true, the new game is set to true. We're also just going to return. Break out of this and not do anything. All right. Otherwise, we're going to go with self.game.time remain. It's going to be equal to game self.game.time multiply 1000. All right. Gameplay self.game. Self.game.time is then going to be equal to 0. We set it to 0. And then self.game.time, the timer, we're going to deactivate it. Okay. So if we run this code now quickly, we'll start a new game. You see my timer is running down. I'm just going to hit the ready button. See, okay, that should be set to 0. Set to 0, and the water starts flowing automatically, which is fantastic. What we're going to do now is we're just going to quickly test it to make sure that we actually get there's an additional thing that needs to happen. The reason why we're using the self.time remaining, the reason for it will be explained in a moment. Horizontal, please, one more horizontal, that would be really appreciated. I want to do it. There's 3 seconds left, only 3 seconds left on the clock. We're going to let the water flow through. After 3 seconds on the clock, we should start the next stage with 32 seconds. Still 29. Okay. So we're going to deal with this self.game.time remain attribute in a moment. Okay. Oh, okay. I just realized, and I was looking through the code itself, I've been making use. I've put into the attribute here in the pub gameplay, you'll see there is an item that's built in called self.time remaining, right? It's even in my init game method, there's a self.time remaining. What I had done while I was building the project was each time you cleared a stage, basically you connected 2 pipes, whatever time there was left over, if you clicked the ready button and there was time left over at the end of the round, it would add that time remaining would then be added to your starting time for the next level. I do remember, sorry, I built this game like 3 or 4 months back, or 2 months back. I do remember that it did make the game a little bit easy, if I remember correctly. If you go down and you check new game or new stage, or update time per new game new stage method, line 201, under the pipe gameplay class, diff update time per new game new stage, self.time duration, self.start time plus time remaining. If I heard it correctly, yes, reset game. I think, if I remember correctly, I took it out so that it doesn't work anymore. It's not included in the game. I know it was working at one point. It did work. But if I remember, I've taken it out since then. So in your check new game or new stage method, as you can see here, if the game over, your time remaining gets set to 0. Self.stage goes to 0. Self.start time is basically 30,000 minus 1,000, so 30 seconds minus 1 second. 1 second multiplied by the stage, which is 0, so that's 0. If it's a stage clear, your stage level increases from 0 to 1. Your start time is then 30 seconds, less 1 second multiplied by the stage level you're on. So if you're on stage level 3, this will be 3 seconds, so 30 seconds minus 3 seconds. Your start time will be 27 seconds. The update time per new game, new stage method I had built to be able to deal with the time remaining at the end of each round. I just want to see something. The reason why it's not working, I didn't take it out. The reason why it's not working is because we need to go to our win state in our piece classes. In our piece class, win state. No, I did take it out. Right, I thought I had taken it out, and that's why I'm discussing it now. I did actually take it out, but I took it out by accident. What we actually need to do is realize that over here, when I'm doing a reset game method, calling the reset game method, I'm calling the init game method, and then I'm buttons pop, the check new game, new stage. All of this is correct, right? All of this, but the problem is in the init game method, right? Inside the init game method, I am resetting the self.time remaining to 0. And that creates a problem because even though when we end the stage gets cleared, once the stage is cleared, our self.time remaining is actually saved. It gets saved on our win state. In our pieces, where's the win state? Update pieces. Win state for the pieces. There we go. Win state for pieces. Self.games.stage gets cleared. But our self.time remaining actually gets updated with the amount of time remaining if we click the ready button. Apologies. So in our button, right down by our button. Sorry, that just took me a little while to figure out why it wasn't working because I thought I did take it out and I remember I was having issues. So in our button action, if ready, right, if piece, okay, then we're saying, well, if safe.game time is equal to 0, we just return. Or if it's a new game, we just return. However, if we're then setting our self.game.time remaining as our current time multiplied by 1,000, so make it into the, otherwise it would just be 3, it wouldn't be noticeable. So it's got to be 3,000. Then the self.game time gets set to 0, and we deactivate the timer itself. So we've then stored, if we click the ready button, we've stored the time remaining in the attributes for the gameplay class. Then we would, when the new stage would start, we would hit the reset button or the new stage button, and that would just effectively call the init method for the gameplay, and that would just wipe out whatever time we had saved in the self.time remaining attribute. So in order to fix this, we're just going to take the self.time remaining attribute, and we're going to paste it directly underneath our init game method, just right there. Okay, and then in our init game method, we're going to remove it. It needs to be removed. All right. So if we run it now, you will see we'll have the game running in a second. It'll run. PC is giving me a bit of a slow day today. Come on. Sure. There we go. All right. So we run our new game. We've got our pipes. Hopefully we can get this to run fairly quickly. Not that one. Yes, that one we need. Another horizontal. We need a couple of verticals now. Another horizontal would be great. Another horizontal is great. A vertical. We need one more vertical. So I have 10 seconds remaining. The timer gets set to 0. The water flows through to the end here. Great. So if you'll remember, the next stage should start with 29 seconds plus the 10 seconds for the time remaining. So we should have 39 seconds starting on the clock. As you can see, it's working perfectly. Fantastic. Great. So that's the time remaining section. The timer and the time on the board is being calculated and it's correct. It's flowing through. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to handle the scoring. So we've got our self.score in our gameplay class, self.score. Every time we place a pipe, we need to deduct from our score. And to do that, we're going to go down to our insert new piece. Insert new piece, where are you? Every time we insert a new piece, right? Insert new piece. It's very simple. We're just going to go self.score minus equals 50. All we're going to do. And then one more thing we're going to do is we're going to go down to our pieces. In our pieces class, in the win state. Start piece, we need pieces, regular piece class. Where's our win state method? So down there in our win state method, we're going to, at the end of the stage, if we've successfully cleared a stage, we're going to say self.game.score plus equals, and we're going to give ourselves 1,000 points because we passed the stage. We should be happy with that. So as you can see, we run the game now quickly. We'll start a new game. We'll put a pipe there. My score is 500, 450, 300, 350, the horizontal. I just need a vertical, please. All these pieces are costing me points-ish. Of course, you can go ahead and think of better ways of scoring. I'm sure you'll be able to come up with something. So I went from minus 900 to plus 100 because of, firstly, all of these pipes deducted off. But when the pipe finished the game, we got a 1,000 point score. All right, the next thing we're going to do, there's two more things that we need to go. We're going to do the top score. So we can record the top score and then load it every time we load the game. And the last thing we'll do is we're going to add in some sounds. Now the sound's not very difficult, but we're going to do it quickly and then that should be it. All right. So let's do our score. The first thing we need to do is we need to create two utility functions right at the top. Our utility functions. It's going to be straightforward. I'm going to do it right at the top. The very first one, define load top score. Okay, and we're going to use a try with open. Let's call it top score dot text. Straightforward, nothing difficult. R plus right as file. A is equal to file dot read dot split. Okay, we're going to return integer value a open brackets 202. All right. If there's no such file, except there's no such file, we're just going to return a 0. Okay. So load top score. You remember in our gameplay class, we had created an attribute that said self.topscore is equal to none. We're now going to change that none to load top score. Okay. We're going to go back up to the top. We're going to create a new function. We're going to call it, we're going to define it as save top score. And we're going to pass it top score and total score. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to say, well, if total score is greater than top score, if that's the case, with open top score dot txt, w for write, we're going to overwrite whatever is inside that file, if there is such a file. If there is no such file, it will create a file which is fantastic. File.write if top score is equal to string total score. All right, so that's how we're going to save it. So you'll remember when we're loading the top score, we're loading A as the file. We're going to go file.read, and then we're going to do a split. Okay, so it's going to, everywhere where there's a space, it's going to split. So it'll split. Top score will be in the first section of the list, and equals will be in the index position 1, and then our score will be at index position 2. Index position 2. All right. Save top score. Now, when do we need to save our top score? We actually need to save our top score when we do a fail state. That's when we actually need to check on whether we need to do the save top score or not. So we're going to go down to our starting piece first. With our start pieces. Gameplay, next class, we're looking for start piece. In my fail state, self.game over fail state. Right, we're going to go, so we're just going to call the save top score, and we're going to pass it self.game.top score. And we're going to pass it self.game.score. Is that correct? Top score, is that with a capital S? Let's just double check in my gameplay class. The attributes. Oh my goodness. We've got score and top score. Yes. Fantastic. Alright. Let's just quickly run this to make sure we haven't broken anything anywhere yet. Score 0. The top score is loaded in as 0, which is fantastic. Let's run a new game. Let's pass that there. Okay, that's not going to work. That works. I just need a horizontal. Ready, 200. Okay, fantastic. So we have a top score of 1200. Next stage, we're going to hit the ready button to fail. Game over. Oh no. Okay. Did it work? No, it didn't work. Oh wait, it does. If I close this now and we open it, it'll load my top score of, what was it, 1,200? Yes, there's the top score loaded of 1,200. So the issue is we didn't update our top score while the game's still playing. That needs to be done. I think it's done in our gameplay class. Yeah, it should be done here in our gameplay class. Gameplay. In our gameplay class, it should actually be in the update method. Where did I put it? I think, yeah, so we actually need to go down to, it's done in at the buttons section when we click the next stage button. And it does it should do the comparison there. It's not going to run that update or do that comparison every second. This is a bit of a waste, which was understandable. I also realized that my scoring is not 100% correct. We need to go down to our pieces whenever we insert a new piece. Update next piece, or when we update next piece method. So in our pieces, update next piece method, right? So basically this is when the water is flowing along the game, along the pipes. Whenever it reaches a new pipe and the pipe is valid, we then increase our score by 100. All right. Then, while we're here in the pieces method, self.game.game over, true. Okay, we're also going to do the save top score, self.game.top score, self.game.score. Okay, so when we're flowing along the water pipes like normal and it fails, it'll then do that check immediately. But let's go down to our buttons, our button class, and our button actions. Okay, under our button actions. Right there. We're going to do this check here. So if we're clicking the button self.next stage, no, we don't want it to be done in the next stage because you can actually end up with a lower score than you did on the previous level. Okay, but if game over or new game buttons get pushed, right, we're going to go with no, if self.game.score is greater than self.game.topscore, right? Then self.game.topscore will be equal to self.game.score, right? Then the last thing we need to do is we actually need to reset our score, self.game.score, to 500. Yeah. So that should handle our scoring. Let's run this quickly. That should handle all of the game scores. So we go new game, replacing all these pups. You'll remember we did change the scoring structure just slightly, so that as the water flows through the pipes, we can gain points for each pipe that is successful, that the water flows through successfully. Ready? 10 seconds. Okay, so we're at minus 400, 200, 100, 0, 100, 200, 300, 400, 300, 1,300. It's already higher than our top score. So when we click the next stage, and okay, well let's try and pass this stage, so we can just increase our top score just a little bit more. Right, we need that one. Yes. No, come on, give us the right. Oh goodness, we're not going to get the right tiles, are we? Oh, I just bypassed it. No, I needed that one. Okay, we'll use that one. And then we need that one. As you can see, our score is actually lower than what we had a minute ago. Oh, our timers continue to run. That shouldn't happen. Why did our timer continue to run? Okay, we'll have to fix that as well. So let's go to the next stage. Let's just run this quickly. I need a vertical, please. Thank you. I need a horizontal. Thank you. Another vertical. Now I'm just looking for verticals. Vertical. Oh, yes. Hit the ready button. Oh, our score just keeps going down and down and down, guys. Wait. We could actually top our new score now. Oh, crikey Moses. Let's go for the next stage. No, it's just not going to happen. Alright, let's start it over quickly. No, let's try one more, the closer one. There we go, that's a bit closer. Let's give this one a go now. Horizontal, yes please. Horizontal, yes please. Yes please, let's ready. Okay, we end up with a new top score. Fantastic, we go to the next stage. Great, let's hit ready. Game over. I should have a new high score of 1,500. And it's updated. That's perfect. Alright. So the timer continued to run. We need to actually deactivate that timer as soon as we hit a fail state. Should we not? Alright, I'm not quite able to recreate how the timer continued running at the moment. But let's continue. For the time being, let's just go in and include the last thing we need to do, which is the sounds. We're going to include the sounds into our game. And our assets included with the assets is 2 sound files, a water flowy and rats, which is like a sewage sound I got off of opengameart.org. A fantastic website with a lot of free assets that get to be used, which is always fun. Okay. So we're going to load in these assets, and to load in the assets we need to go, where did I load in the assets? Right, that's where I did it. Okay, so in our gameplay class, of course, the logic class, the gameplay class, we're going to create a new method directly underneath the init game method. We're going to call it init sounds. Okay, we're going to initialize the Pygame mixer dot init. Okay, we're going to run Pygame dot mixer dot music. Pygame mixer dot music dot load. We're going to load a file in assets, and it's rats underscore 0.ogg. All right. Pygame dot mixer dot music dot set volume 0.2, and Pygame mixer dot music dot play. Right, loops equals -1, which is basically an infinite loop. All right, then the next thing we're going to do below that, we're going to go self.water playing is going to be equal to false. Self.water is equal to pygame.mixer.sound, capital letter, don't leave the capital letter out, assets water.ogg. Okay, then self.water.set volume will also be set to 0.2. Okay, then we're going to call this method directly underneath our init game method. We're going to call self.init sounds. All right, then we need to actually go down and call these sounds. So in the init sounds method, the water, the music, the rat file is playing constantly already. So we don't need to worry about that. We've given it an attribute, created an attribute called self.water playing equals false. Okay. I think there was a reason for that. But what I wanted to check now is the water flowing, right? We're going to go down to our starting pieces. Start pieces. Where's the start piece? My start piece class. And inside my start piece class, inside the update method, right? Here we've got if self.timer.active is equal to false and self.imageindex is less than, right? We've got the self.update animation image, self.reset timer. We're going to go say if not self.game.water playing, right? Remember it was set to false, so it is false. We're going to say self.game.water playing will be set to true, and self.game.water.play -1. All right. So what we did is we created our init method at the top here for the init sounds. Init sounds. There's our water playing. It's a boolean, and then our self.water, which is the sound file. Okay. So if it's not true, right, we set it to true, and then we play the file. Self.game.water.play -1. So we're playing it, it's flowing, it goes through an infinite loop, basically, right? Then we're going to go down to our fail state, if I have it correct, yes. And in our fail state, we're going to say self.game.water playing is equal to false, and self.game.water.fade out with half a second. Okay. We're going to go down to our pieces, our normal pieces. And in our normal pieces are win state and fail state. In our win state, for the win state, we're going to go with self.game.water playing is equal to false. And self.game.water.fade out by 500. Right? And we basically put the exact same thing in our fail state. Method 2. Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, that should be all of it. We now have a working game. We have music playing. Let me just double check. Yeah, we have music playing. We start the new game. I'm just going to include a couple pipes to see if the water playing mechanic works. That one there, that one there. All right. Oh, we should be able to. Yeah, we can. Okay, let's ready. And the water flowing sound is playing. The game seems to be working. We deserve a. Great. And that brings us to the end of this video series. Pipes, water flowy, flow, whatever you want to call it. It was a long project. It was a tedious one sometimes, but I think the biggest challenge in this project was actually the flow animation of the water. Getting the directional flow right, activating each pipe. That's how I did it. I'd love to hear from you if you've got any other suggestions on how you've done it, or if you've got any ways that you think it could have been improved. I'd really appreciate hearing it from you. To put it down in the comment section below, message me. I like to respond. I like to chat with these things. This is a learning process for us all. I really hope you enjoyed these videos, and I hope to see you in the next one. I'm excited for the next two. The next video that'll go up will probably be my checkers game, or the game of drafts, which I put together. The game itself was fairly simple to put together, but I'm quite proud of the AI the segment of AI that I put in for the game. So I'm quite excited to record and put that video up, that series up too. And then the one after that is a lot smaller program, a lot smaller project, but also just as much fun. Also got its own challenges, which every project so far has been its own challenge, and I've really enjoyed it. Hope to see you guys in the next few tutorials. Cheers for now.